Here we go on Thursday the 13th of August. This is a setup in the front garden. It's been like this since Sunday. Pretty much all of the, well, I'm not going to say all, but most of the deck work has been done now, including the filleting. Tomorrow is our last chance to get the sanders on the inside of the boat and to get a coat of clear epoxy on the whole lot. And then she'll be ready to tow, and I'm hoping that will be Saturday morning. You can see all the filletings there. It just now needs some real good sandpaper. Just the last little view of the boat. Sun might be getting in the way, but there it is. Good morning. It's Friday the 14th of August. So today is the day that our Cornwall holiday begins, but no one's actually going today. So the first arrivals are tomorrow, Holly and Lance and Amanda, and I'm going to set off with the boys on Sunday morning. Update on the boat. It's pretty much 12 weeks exactly since I began the project. The wood arrived first week of May, and I think I started the assembly in the second week. So 12 weeks. I haven't completely finished the boat by any means. Someone made a comment, or I read a comment about it can take you almost as long to finish the boat as it takes you to build the boat. So referring to the preparation of the surfaces and the various coatings that it needs, and getting a really good finish. So I've had to readjust my original thinking. And what I'm aiming for is to have the boat watertight with a clear epoxy coating on all of the spars, the rudder, the inside of the boat. The outside of the boat's already been epoxied, but today's last big task before we can head off for Cornwall is going to be to get the sanders on the inside of the boat and get a clear coat of epoxy on. And here, it's pretty early in the morning, but I've prepared the rudder and the rudder stock, which I will be varnishing, epoxying. I've also got the centerboard hanging up there. It's got a special coat of protective stuff on it, and I need to give it another coat this morning. So today is really the last day before we head off. Tomorrow I've got a myriad tasks to do, preparing the house before I can leave it for 2 weeks, and doing a bit of a clear up around the workshop. Workshop's been fantastic. The deck that I built was just right. The only real challenge was shelter, though, in the rain and the wind, and I didn't quite get that right. Various gazebos. One that Dad lent me lasted the longest, but still it didn't really enable me to work during wet, rainy days. Actually, looking back over the 3 months, it's probably only been about 10 days or so of rain, but on those days I couldn't work. Not making any excuses. It's a long and complex project, and probably I didn't really appreciate how long it would take when I began. But I've learned a lot along the way. So if I were to do this again, I think some of my planning would be different. And I might be further along in a 12-week period than I am today. But not complaining about that. So I just thought for posterity I'd do this short video just to catch up on where we're at. I know I haven't posted anything for a few weeks. The last week has been really challenging with the hot weather. I mean, we've had days of 34 degrees 4 days in a row for 6 hours of the day, 8 hours of the day, and just too hot to do any epoxying. But I've used the time to work in the shade or work in the workshop and, cut pieces and get ready, and then done all the epoxy work from 6 in the evening till about 8. So the last week has been putting on all the decking, doing all the filleting, and in the background, working on the rudder stock, working on the spars. So as I say, today, big push to sand down the inside, get rid of all the epoxy drips and the epoxy blobs and smooth it all down and give everything a clear coat of epoxy. So need to do that by this evening. It's going to be interesting because the forecast for today is a kind of overcast day with light rain here and there. But I think the latest gazebo that I've got, and I'll take a few pictures later, pretty much keeps the boat dry as long as there's not wind. So that's the plan for today. Okay, I'm going to have my coffee and then crack on with giving the rudder stock and the spars a coat of epoxy. Later. Today is Sunday, the 16th of August, Cornwall departure day, and this is what we'll be towing with us. In the event Friday was not the day to finish the sanding and epoxying, it took us all day to do the various bits of sanding work, and even had to finish a stint of it yesterday morning. But yesterday, early afternoon, with Gemma helping, mixing the epoxy as we go, I've given everything a clear coat. So, this is a bare boat now, which we'll be taking down to Cornwall as is, and various fixings will be put on when we get there. Really happy with the way it's turned out. Obviously a lot of work to do when I come to paint her, but that'll be the next chapter. Finishing this chapter will be hitching her up to the car and heading west. So I'll have a couple of photographs of that. But here she is in her glory. And latest bit of news to end this off. We came up with a name yesterday in the Harris family tradition of naming boats after the women in our family. We've gone through everyone, but this time we've called this boat Serendipity. So, may God bless.